Genesis chapter 18. And Yahweh appears to him among the oaks of Mamre, and he is sitting at the opening of the tent about the heat of the day. And he lifts up his eyes and looks, and behold, 3 men standing by him. And he sees and runs to meet them from the opening of the tent, and bows himself toward the earth, and says, My Lord, if now I have found grace in your eyes, please do not pass on from your servant. Please let a little water be accepted, and wash your feet, and recline under the tree. And I bring a piece of bread, and support your heart. Afterward pass on, for therefore you have passed over to your servant. And they say, So may you do as you have spoken. And Abraham hurries toward the tent to Sarah, and says, Hurry, 3 measures of flour meal, knead, and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, and takes a son of the herd, tender and good, and gives to the young man, and he hurries to prepare it. And he takes butter and milk, and the son of the herd which he has prepared, and sets it before them. And he is standing by them under a tree, and they eat. And they say to him, Where is Sarah your wife? And he says, Behold, in the tent. And he says, Returning, I return to you, about the time of life, and behold, to Sarah your wife, a son. And Sarah is listening at the opening of the tent which is behind him. And Abraham and Sarah are aged, entering into days. The way of women has ceased to be with Sarah. And Sarah laughs in her heart, saying, After I have waxed old, have I had pleasure? My Lord is also old. And Yahweh says to Abraham, Why is this? Sarah has laughed, saying, Is it really true? I bear, and I am aged. Is anything too wonderful for Yahweh? At the appointed time I return to you, about the time of life, and Sarah has a son. And Sarah denies, saying, I did not laugh, for she has been afraid. And he says, No, but you did laugh. And the men rise from there and look on the face of Sodom. And Abraham is going with them to send them away. And Yahweh said, Am I concealing from Abraham that which I am doing? And Abraham certainly becomes a great and mighty nation, and blessed in him have been all nations of the earth. For I have known him, and he commands his children and his house after him, and they have kept the way of Yahweh, to do righteousness and judgment, that Yahweh may bring on Abraham that which he has spoken concerning him. And Yahweh says, The cry of Sodom and Gomorrah, because great, and their sin, because exceedingly grievous. I go down now, and see whether according to its cry which is coming to me, they have done completely, and if not, I know. And the men turn from there, and go toward Sodom. And Abraham is yet standing before Yahweh. And Abraham draws near and says, Do you also consume righteous with wicked? Perhaps there are 50 righteous in the midst of the city. Do you also consume, and not bear with the place for the sake of the 50 righteous who are in its midst? Far be it from you to do according to this thing, to put death to the righteous with the wicked, that it has been as the righteous, so the wicked. Far be it from you, does the judge of all the earth not do justice? And Yahweh says, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous in the midst of the city, then have I borne with all the place for their sake. And Abraham answers and says, Now behold, I have willed to speak to the Lord, and I am dust and ashes. Perhaps there are lacking 5 of the 50 righteous. Do you destroy for 5 the whole of the city? And he says, I do not destroy it if I find there 45. And he adds again to speak to him and says, Perhaps there are found there 40. And he says, I do not do it because of the 40. And he says, Please, let it not be displeasing to the Lord, and I speak. Perhaps there are found there 30. And he says, I do not do it if I find there 30. And he says, Now behold, I have willed to speak to the Lord. Perhaps there are found there 20. And he says, I do not destroy it because of the 20. And he says, Please, let it not be displeasing to the Lord, and I speak only this time. Perhaps there are found there 10. And he says, I do not destroy it because of the 10. And Yahweh goes on, when he has finished speaking to Abraham, and Abraham has turned back to his place.